Hello, welcome to another episode of Showboys. My name is Mike, joined as always by my good friend and co-host Nick, and we're joined by our special friend of show, returning guest Jordan. Oddly enough, it is actually not a holiday, but we're still glad to have you.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
It's the early Easter special.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I don't know what movie we'd go over for Easter. Actually, oh my god, I do actually.
See,
Yeah.
Save it.
Yeah,
There you
it's
go.
a clue.
Yeah. So, how you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Splendid.
Splendid. Nice. Yeah, so we have a fun and interesting episode tonight. We're going to be talking about the THETA Network and just what it is, what THETA is, and the implications that it could have on the film, gaming, streaming, and even the financial sector. So I actually know really nothing about THETA. Jordan is our resident THETA expert, and Nick has been dabbling here and there. So it's going to be a lot of me asking probably really silly questions, and Jordan giving us all the answers.
Really silly answers. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we start off? Why don't you just give the best simple explanation of what the THETA Network is?
Oh man, simple. Well, first of all, it's a blockchain project. The idea is that it's going to decentralize the way that video and streaming are delivered to people. So it's going to work as a peer-to-peer technology, so that your neighbor could be utilizing the THETA network, and you could benefit from that. So if you're streaming a concert, let's say, and they want to, let's say your internet can't exactly follow up to 4K or 8K streaming. Well, if your neighbor is on the THETA network, and let's just say they're out to dinner or something, well, the THETA network basically allows you to utilize their bandwidth to enhance your video that you're viewing with your family. So that's a simple way to explain it, I suppose.
Nice. So on top of that, they have a website similar to YouTube or Twitch. I noticed. I think, isn't it THETA TV?
Yeah. Yes. So
Twitch Tube is basically what it looks like.
Yeah, like a perfect combination of YouTube and Twitch, exactly. But it looks very similar to Twitch, actually. They have lots of live streamers streaming games and other sorts of content like that. But it also serves as a YouTube type platform because you can upload already pre-recorded videos for people's watching pleasure. How does THETA TV tie into the overall THETA network? Does everything run through that website?
So THETA TV kind of acts as one of their working products, I guess you could say. It used to be called Sliver TV, and that was utilized for just exactly what you mentioned, Twitch for streaming games. I think League of Legends Championship was streamed on there. But THETA itself, THETA TV, is going to be kind of an entertainment hub, I think, is the best way to explain it, because you could stream video games on there. You could stream live chats. I think I see one guy playing his guitar on there and singing all the time.
Oh, nice.
Mike, that for you.
I was going to say, and there's different networks and movie studios are starting to get interested in the THETA TV product for their streaming platforms. It branches, way beyond there. That's kind of the subject that THETA has that will kind of apply to what you guys will be interested in, for the entertainment streaming hub for games and video.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, it's the THETA network. It's its own blockchain. So if you if you dive into the blockchain world off of this conversation, you'll see that it's going to act as its own network to utilize smart contracts in the future, the same way other platforms like you probably heard of Ethereum before, or you'll probably soon hear about Cardano or Zilliqa. It's gonna utilize smart contracts the same way those will, and that's going to impact the retail and enterprise world.
Yeah, actually, funny you bring that up with film companies and stuff partnering up with THETA and using it as a streaming platform of sorts. We had actually an article in the newscast the other day. Actually, I think it came out yesterday, right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
But Lionsgate is the newest company to join up and partner with THETA. And they are doing, let me find here in the article, they will be kicking off movie night screenings of movies like American Psycho, The Blair Witch Project, Leprechaun, The Wicker Man, all that stuff coming in early March. So, a week or two here. And they're not the only company that's partnered with THETA. MGM, Junkin Media, Cinedigm, companies like that are teaming up with this platform to pump out content. It's just kind of cool.
I think Jordan had mentioned like Samsung, right? It's going to be on all the Samsung TVs in a couple of years here.
Yeah, probably actually sooner than that. Not only Samsung TVs, but their mobile devices as well.
Right.
Which I've only heard that the conference I listened to, they were talking about cell phones, but I'm sure you could bet it'll be also on the tablets and such.
Yeah. Do you know? So I think of Silicon Valley. You ever watch that show?
I have not.
On HBO. You should watch it. It's actually pretty cool. It's funny, and it gets a little nerdy about stuff to what they talk about. But at one point, they have this application, right, and it has one purpose. But they are able to, everywhere it's installed, they are able to leverage all the hardware that's installed on to enhance their network because they're hitting bandwidth issues because they're blowing up.
Okay.
So they just started illegally hijacking people's hardware to support their network. Would THETA be using these devices like in the background as available, or is it not like intended to do that?
No, you're kind of on the right track about that, because the Samsung TVs and the devices basically will allow you to opt in or opt out of being part of the THETA network.
Right.
And we can get into it if you guys want, but there's a little bit of the company themselves. They have it set up as there's an incentive program to giving your bandwidth to the network.
Right.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive into that. That sounds like a really interesting concept. What's up, Stefan? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you're out there, watching this live stream on the YouTube channel, feel free to leave comments, ask questions, let us know what you're thinking. We'll throw it up on the screen and talk about it and answer your questions if you have any, or listen to your points, whatever. So let's get into the sharing of bandwidth and kind of that whole structure they're working towards and what that looks like, and what purpose that really serves, and how that elevates THETA above other technologies. Well,
I guess one of the there's a couple things that when you first talk about a crypto project or a blockchain project, you usually get the eye rolls, or what fake money are you talking about?
Hey, I don't know if you can see this here. Let me. I wore my NASA shirt so we can take THETA to the moon. Just like
there you go. A funny side comment: SpaceX actually streams on THETA TV for their launches.
That would make a lot of sense,
right? Yeah. So they have. I guess what I'm getting at with that is when you hear about blockchain projects or cryptocurrency projects, you get the eye rolls of like what type of fake thing are you talking about? Well, I always explain to people that over 90% of the projects you see in the blockchain world are a white paper and a promise. You don't really get to see what the product is. They tell you what the scope is, and you just have to hope that one day technology catches up and they can launch an actual product. Well, Theta obviously is a little bit different. They already have certain working products. You can, Nick, like you said, you can track the escalation of the network traffic. It's growing a lot. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's grown a large percentage over the last 12 months. But the idea is when they have a working product, they have the right people backing them. You can go to their website and read their white paper if you'd like, but you can also look at the list of their partners. You'll see Google, you'll see Samsung, and ironically, you'll actually see Binance on there. Nick, I know you and I were talking about Binance earlier, the exchange.
Yeah, those are all enterprise validator nodes.
Yes.
So that's basically a partnership, but they've also committed bandwidth, hardware, resources to the network.
Exactly. Gotcha. So there's obviously people that believe in the product, obviously, and are helping with the adoption of it. If you go to their actual team, you'll see there's I forget that guy's actual name. Maybe I can find it here, but you have some of the co-founder of YouTube, working closely with the project. Obviously, YouTube is a little bit involved with Google too, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously a big part of it. Steve Chen, there it is. That was driving me crazy.
And just for reference, this is THETA.org, where we're looking at all this information. Very cool website.
Yeah, it's pretty snazzy looking, right?
Yeah.
It's
pull that up.
Yeah. But the idea though is so you have a working product, and that's amazing to see. And in the blockchain, that can add that immediately adds some credibility to the actual the market cap of the company. Then you have the partnerships, obviously, that adds more faith to the system. Theta in particular needs it's kind of a trifecta. So you have those two things. And the next thing you need are actually network validators. And like you mentioned, there's enterprise validators that are the kind of the big wigs who run Theta nodes. And then beyond that, you have Guardian nodes, which those are the nodes that you could run out of your house if you'd like. But that basically becomes they're kind of the community relayers of the network. And what that does is when you have the big validator nodes, you have data traveling through that. And then you also have that same data become a little bit more lucrative through the Guardian nodes. And the incentive to that is it brings in I guess this is where the actual cryptocurrency becomes part of it. You'll earn what's called Theta Fuel. Theta Fuel has its own market cap. It has its own circulating supply. But the greatest thing about that is you can use that on the Theta network as a type of cryptocurrency. So you almost look at Theta itself as a governance. It's a governance token for the network. And then what's really fun with the T Fuel, I don't ever like calling it T Fuel that much. It feels a little.
It makes me think of an energy drink.
Well, G Fuel is, of course, they're one of the first partnerships that was announced with Theta. So I wonder if they had a little bit of pull on that. Anyway, I hate the name T Fuel, so I always reference it as Theta Fuel. But that is you can actually. So if you're streaming on Theta TV, you can the people watching can actually tip you in Theta Fuel.
Nice.
So it having a decentralized network like that, it really breaks apart what it kind of chokeholds users on YouTube, right? You don't get the biggest market share of your content, right? You get censored. Let's be honest, right? There's a little bit of censorship that's involved. So when you have a decentralized setup like this, it really it lifts the curtains on a couple things, which will probably be good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes both ways. For sure.
It does. It really does. It does.
So yeah. So I'm installing the Guardian node right now on my computer.
Okay.
It's validating. It's said to get popcorn. It's going to take a while. So when it uses my spare bandwidth, does that count against like my ISP data cap? So if they're telling me, so like AT&T, I can upload a terabyte a month without additional charges. Is it hitting me against that quota?
In that aspect, it would. Yes, it would.
Gotcha.
So what I really, a lot of people that I talk to that have that same concern. I usually say you should maybe shop around a little bit, because I think the caps like that, you're gonna, not only with Theta, I get the feeling that not only will it's a product that YouTube can use in the future, and it's a product that also Twitch could use. It's a product that really any type of streaming network could use. So if it's something you want to get involved with and utilize, become part of the Theta Network, I normally say make sure you have a ISP that doesn't have a cap on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was wondering if there's like a way to like regulate it, or does it just kind of run wild once you turn it on?
Oh, there's a lot of the early tests that we've done are kind of with the it sounds greedy, but we're looking to see what the T-fuel return rate is. We're just trying to understand, once you stake your Theta tokens to the network, how long does it take to retrieve it after you unstake them? So it's a lot of my friends who get into it can have more answers like that. But it's so far so good. It's like you said, it's very, very user friendly. And when you go to download the Guardian node, you'll notice it works on Apple, works on Windows and Linux.
Yeah, they had all the options there.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the entertainment sector, how does everything that we've just talked about, how does that kind of play into film and gaming and the streaming industries? Like, aside from Theta TV being a YouTube Twitch amalgamation type hybrid, are we going to potentially see Theta turn into like a streaming service, like say a Netflix or a Hulu or a Prime or Disney Plus or HBO or whatever, with these film companies partnering with Theta to give them content to push out? Is it going to be like a Netflix, I guess?
There's a couple different ways it could go in the future. I more so see companies utilize either developing their own technology similar to Theta, which Theta has a patent, which is nice to see if you're an investor, right? But they could either take the time to develop a technology like it, or they can use Theta. So Theta could very well have its own streaming service. Who knows what Theta TV could become in the future, right? Before, it was just a couple people streaming video games and some championships every now and then. Now it's the World Poker Tour is going to be hosted on the Theta Network.
Nice.
I think in the future you'll be using the Theta Network, whether you're benefiting from the network or not yourself, but you'll be utilizing it and interacting with it without even knowing it.
Sneaky.
Yes, yeah, that's the way a lot of these blockchain projects are going to be. They're a lot of them are referred to as utility tokens. Especially for decentralized finance. You're going to see it in the in healthcare, social care, finance. You're going to see it everywhere. It's just going to have different ways to be adapted to whatever niche it's going for.
Right. Excuse me. I was seeing in this article about Lionsgate joining. I think somewhere in there it mentioned like premium. I saw the word premium. Is there some sort of, yeah, here you go. It was, I think it was talking about the Stars subscription platform.
Oh, okay.
So that answers your question before we went on. Lionsgate
Yeah.
Stars.
Right.
But will we see anything like a premium pay for Theta TV, or I don't know. I guess I'm trying to figure out the more like front end applications of Theta, since we kind of talked about the back end and the bandwidth sharing and how it'll be used in that sense. But yeah, I don't know if my question actually came out making sense or not, or if you could answer it. But
as far as the front end, what your average person is going to interact with, I think is going to be really just your Theta TV app, and everyone will have a Theta wallet that wants to interact with it. And I think the majority of people will, as far as the cryptography of it, the tokens that your average person is going to hold is going to be T-Fuel, and they're going to interact with that with probably on Theta Store, tipping content streamers. I think that's going to be the economic side of it. The other side is going to it depends what Lionsgate and MGM are going to do. I know they're going to have content on Theta TV, but who knows what that will look like in the long run, right? Maybe They want Theta TV to just literally be live streams of content creators or esports. And then, for all we know, we'll see in the future Stars powered by Theta. It's just an idea.
Right.
It's a lot of that is the crystal ball, like what's going to happen, how much will this be worth?
My favorite thing, wild speculation.
Yeah, right. Right. When you look at the partners though, and you know that Samsung's involved on the software tech side, especially with Samsung VR. Samsung VR is not my favorite, VR product, I guess, but a lot of people use it, right? And who knows? Samsung's not like it's a nobody company. I think we can see a lot of things, especially with what COVID did. COVID changed everything for streaming. Everybody misses concerts, but they don't really want to go to them. So what if we're viewing concerts in VR, from your living room? What if instead of paying for front row seats, you're just paying for a ticket that has cameras set up all around the artist and you're watching them from home? Well, you don't want to have that buffer, right? You don't want it to be grainy looking.
That's my favorite part of YouTube.
Yeah. I know when I go to New Kids on the Block concerts, it's the best in the world, right?
Yeah.
I don't go to those. But if you're watching something like that from home though, you want to have the best possible experience for what you're paying for.
Right.
And I could, if people on your street could be involved in the Theta Network too, which the Theta Network, it would, pre-cache the viewing of what you're looking at and just make the stream overall smoother for you, makes your experience that much better. It's just, the sky's the limit when it comes to what this could go to, right?
Does it localize like that? So like if everyone on your street is on the Theta Network, you guys are all just kind of grouping up?
Exactly. That's exactly how it works. And that's part of the decentralization of not only Theta, but just what the blockchain is trying to do as a whole. It's not just one party that governs everything. It becomes in the IT field, you call it a mesh network. It's a mesh network globally that everyone can benefit from because there's not only one particular host that it all comes from.
Right. So has there been any kind of like thought or discussions or write-ups when it comes to or precedents as far as like how ISPs view something like this? Because obviously it's moving over their networks. And I don't know if in the long run, like, it just makes more people pay for unlimited plans and that's good for them, or you know, they kind of look down on the push, you know, the mushroom over their network, right? Because they have this other network kind of piggybacking off of it.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to what you said before. If you're capped out at a certain speed, certain bandwidth, you can't really give more than that, right? Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't really step on their toes because you're paying for their service. You're just utilizing their service to host others. It's kind of like if, let's say we're playing a video game and you set up let's say we're playing Minecraft, and you set up a Minecraft server locally. I use like a VPN, I jump into it. Well, it's, you know, I'm utilizing your internet to join that server, right? So it's kind of like that. It's just, it'll give out what you're not using to the network. Which, I mean, if you watch a video on you know, Netflix, you're pre-throttling like sometimes like 40 megs worth of bandwidth when you only need like 5 or 6 to have a very decent viewing of whatever you're trying to watch.
So greedy.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But it does that, and I guess it's not really a villainous thing that they want you to have to view it better, but it's so much unused bandwidth. It's not even needed.
Right. So we're talking about a potential socialist internet network.
I was waiting for that to happen. I'm just gonna like drink and drift off though. Yeah.
This is the way.
And and it's not always even I guess socialist systems aren't always as villainous too as
well.
I don't like them normally, but
to defend it right out the gate though, it prioritizes like the community's usage. It's more so, communities are socialist societies, at least they should be. So your neighbor, you go over, ask for some sugar because you're out of sugar. Sure. Well, I'm just asking for some bandwidth, man. On the
yeah.
Help me out here.
He's like, I need more bandwidth.
Even though, maybe in my neighborhood, I might just be devouring everybody's bandwidth. That might just be the case, but that's okay with me.
You got to keep that Valheim server up and running, bro.
I'm going to convince all my retired neighbors, like, listen, you guys need to put this THETA node up in your house and we'll be good.
Yes.
You guys were playing Valheim before you launched this, right?
I'm actually playing right now.
Well, spring when you said Minecraft, I was like, well, same thing, Valheim.
We literally cannot stop playing Valheim. It's a problem.
Yeah, my friend Dan, he's trying to get me to play it too, and I play a lot of games. I don't have a ton of extra time, but ironically,
playing all of those ones and play Valheim.
There's sometimes ironically, I like whether it's on THETA or Twitch, I'll jump on there and I'll watch other people playing it, and it looks pretty fun.
Dude, it's literally Viking Minecraft.
Yeah. There's like a little. I just like Minecraft, I suppose. There's a certain aesthetic to the graphics that you got to get used to. But once you get used to it, you don't even notice it, right?
Yeah.
It's accessible is my favorite word for it. It is just hyper accessible for everyone to just jump in and live a different life.
And it's as difficult as you want to make it, if that makes sense. Like it has all. So our episode has quickly turned into a Valheim review.
THETA and what is Valheim?
But hey, I'm on board for this side road we're going down.
No, big stuff.
with with Valheim being a crafting like builder game, it's also a survival game. And what it does is it like takes all of the super annoying and unnecessarily like punishing aspects out of survival games.
Okay.
It takes all of those away, but keeps like the core mechanics there. For instance, like so there's hunger, you have to gather food, cook food, eat food, but you'll never starve. Like if you don't eat, you're not gonna like die. You're just gonna have your max health and stamina bar goes up when you eat, but when you are like hungry or whatever, it's at like a minimum of like 25 or something, and you don't go below 25 health, for example. Okay. But if you eat, you can get up to like 100 health, but you're not going to like die from being hungry, which is kind of cool. Removes the annoying, like, oh, I got to stop what I'm doing because I'm literally going to die if I don't eat food. But you still have to eat. There's like benefits to eating and staying fed. But yeah, man, I recommend playing for sure. It's so much fun with people.
I can't even imagine someone I joined like 30 seconds ago started listening to. What's THETA?
You're not even gonna die if you're hungry, man.
It takes a while.
But there are benefits to eating.
Yes, there are definitely benefits to eating.
Man.
Oh man. But hey, while we're on the Valheim train, Showboys, word on the street is we have our own dedicated server now for the Showboys podcast. So if you're into Valheim and you want to play with us, join our Discord and we can get you in there and it'll be a nice, fun time. But yeah, back to THETA, the important topic of tonight.
I was streaming on THETA too.
That's right. Hey, I'm trying to work on it. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about. You mentioned esports and you mentioned the poker being streamed. Is the poker stream like an exclusive to THETA thing, or? So
the way I understood it, well, to directly answer that question, I'm not 100% sure, but it goes back to what I was saying before. They could be utilizing a certain platform that is being powered by THETA. So it could be, I mean, they could rebrand some other type of, they might even take THETA TV and rebrand it for something for themselves, right? And just have it say powered by THETA. So I'm not 100% sure what they're going to be doing with it. But my guess is if space shuttles for SpaceX are launching on THETA TV, we'll probably see the poker tournament on THETA TV as well.
Nice.
So yeah, you can already go to your phone and everything and get the THETA.TV app. It's kind of, when I started following THETA, it was about a year ago, I think. THETA TV, it didn't really catch my attention early on. It was really plain, and it's grown a lot in the last probably 6 or 7 months. And part of that is due to the fact you don't need like a personal streaming code. It used to be you had to go on like a small quest on Twitter to get a streaming code. And I know you had to go on Twitter, mention THETA and say you want to stream on there, and you'd be selected. So they've really taken their time with each step, but each step that they take forward is there's really not any hiccups or tripping going on.
Right. That's good though. You like
Absolutely.
to see that because you don't want like a Fallout 76 on your hands.
Right. And they're definitely not in any sort of rush. It's right. It's very it's nice to see. So,
why don't you talk a little bit about the growth that you've seen since you started? 12-ish months ago. We could even talk about like the financial growth, in your THETA investment. Also, what kind of growth you've seen on THETA TV. Like I'm sure you don't have data of like in front of you right now about like, I'm curious. I wonder how many streamers stream on Theta. Like how many concurrent viewers you might see at any given night on Theta TV. Things like that. I'm sure that it's grown a lot since you've started following it.
Yeah, definitely. It's grown in, I guess, in both ways, both streamers and viewers. Obviously, you could have 100 people in a room right now, and they're gonna, and if the person directing that room says, "Hey, go to your computer and start watching somebody streaming, let's just say Destiny 2 or Valheim or whatever game you're thinking about," um, probably 97 of those people in that room are going to go to either Twitch or YouTube still, right? That's the conventional thing to go to, and that's okay. I do that still. I go to Theta just to see if what I'm looking for is there, and we're starting to get to the majority of time where it's on there. So but before you would go there and you'd see like a Roblox streamer, a couple Fortnite streamers, 7 Days to Die streamers, but nothing really big. Now you're starting to see everything. Like I said, you'll see a guy playing guitar. You'll see someone just talking about movies. You'll see people streaming different games you're looking for. There's not a ton of viewers on those yet. I think the most I've seen was probably like close to 100 on one particular streamer. But you can look at that, and like a content creator can look at that and say, well, I'm not getting on there, right? Because who's gonna watch my stuff on there? Or you can
right
there and see an opportunity, right? If you see a quality product, you know where it's going to be going. If you research it, it's an absolute opportunity to get on the ground floor and promote it, and just branch off from it.
I'm looking at Theta brand partners on the Theta TV website. You got NASA repping, World Poker Tour, like you were saying. Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's right. I forgot. How could I forget?
Yes. Fail Army, G Fuel, shocker. But yeah, it's kind of cool. And like you're saying, it's a great time to get in, as a streamer or content creator on Theta TV.
Definitely.
Because, hey, let's be honest, on Theta, there's not much competition right now. You're one of the few streaming. So that's only good for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm anxious to see if they'll partner up with any of the big streamers, last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I forget the exact time frame, but we were seeing a lot of the big streamers leave Twitch and go to Facebook gaming or YouTube or whatever. Most have since come back to Twitch, but I'm wondering if we'll see any of the larger streamers make their way over to Theta over Twitch.
And that's all. Yeah, obviously, you get into speculation of what could be in the future. The sky's the limit, right? It's when you see everything that I've seen in the decentralized world with the blockchain. It opens so many doors to what could this possibly become, right?
Yeah.
I feel like big streamers could easily be incentivized to move over there once Theta feels the need to incentivize them, because they could just outright boost their platform by getting some really big streamers and say, hey, we will pay you X to come stream on Theta, and all the people, instantly that's just going to set off a bomb amongst people who watch that streamer, right? And and I feel like they might just get to that point where they'll start doing that, and that might be like a business decision before unless they naturally just drift over there.
Right.
Yeah. In the last, I don't know if it was last weekend. I don't follow it exactly, but Logan Paul, he based. I don't know if you heard about this. What he did with the Pokemon cards.
Didn't he like pretty much a scam thing, right?
Well,
it's Logan Paul. It couldn't have been anything good.
It's I'm not a fan either. But there's some things I laugh at, I guess. But what he did was he opened up like a set of Pokemon cards, and these Pokemon cards were made into what's called a NFT. It's a non-fungible token, and what that does is it puts one copy of that particular Pokemon card in this example on the blockchain, and they were raffling them off. So imagine they're doing this with art. They're doing this with soon-to-be sports cards. They're going to be doing this with lots of things. But imagine having the original copy of a particular file on the blockchain. Let's say everything you do, like you guys have played Magic the Gathering, right? Or do you know what it is? Obviously, the card game.
I like girls.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I do like girls.
That's good. I'm glad. Actually, you know what's
just kidding. Keep digging myself into that.
So I ironically haven't played Magic either, but I thought it was for some reason I assumed you guys would. I don't know if that's an insult or what.
No, I actually played a ton of Pokemon.
Oh, well, holy hell! Game. I didn't.
So,
yeah. Okay. So,
obviously, I didn't like girls that much. I played a lot of Pokemon. So.
You played for Misty, didn't you?
That's right.
So imagine, Pokemon, the card game, never actually existed, like as cards you could hold, but it was all online, right? Imagine having an original Charizard that was only made once. It's shadowless border Charizard, the first edition.
Yes. Now you're talking my language.
Exactly. So the only one, let's just say one of those existed. I know there's more that exist than one, but that's the way NFTs are going to work on the blockchain. So these Pokemon cards that Logan Paul opened, they made into NFT files and auctioned off online. Okay. So when people are playing Pokemon on the blockchain in the future, they're going to have that one card that exists. So you have they're going to be doing that with art. Art's already going online for a crazy amount of money on as an NFT. It's creating its own economy. You know what I mean? Just in the whole art world. There's an enterprise adoption for that too, that they're going to be using for invoices in the future with a couple of different companies I'm launching. But I forget how that relates to Theta, to be honest with you. I forget how we got into that.
I think that's the contract, kind of like the Ethereum thing, right? Like the original copies. Like you can actually, because the network validates that is in fact the original Charizard file.
Yes, exactly. And the original ones are going to be obviously worth a whole lot more, right?
Right.
You could have you could log into someone's computer, or see the Mona Lisa as the background on someone's computer. Well, that doesn't devalue the actual Mona Lisa art, right? The original picture of it that exists. I guess an entity owns that, but there's always certain people that own rare art. It's coming to the blockchain also. Everything it's happening to everything, and it's
Right on. Hey, Scene Snobs channel watching. What's up, Mick? How's it going? He says, evening, gents. Hope you're doing well over there.
Mick's
glad you could join us for the Theta Network Masterclass taught to us by Jordan.
Jordo.
So we keep throwing around the word decentralized.
Yes.
Let's break that down and talk exactly what that means for platforms like Theta and Twitch and YouTube, and like why that is a benefit and something that content creators desire.
Well, I guess it's you're using a decentralized platform, right? So that you remain the primary owner of that. You're utilizing a platform that you understand what your direct benefits can come from and aren't controlled by a particular entity. And the system itself, again, falls back in decentralized, it's a peer-to-peer system. So I guess you could technically say that if you're hosting a server, it's centralized by you, but there's not a particular corporation that is centralizing it, correct? Look at Bitcoin itself. It's a store of value that you can transfer from A to B, and there's no centralization to it, right? There's not exactly a bank that's going to tell you what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. You're going to simply exchange it between A and B.
We got a fan of your Christmas tree there, Jordan.
FYI,
that's the nicest Christmas tree ever.
Thank you.
It's very fitting. I don't know if you've followed all of our episodes or not, but Jordan usually only makes appearances on holidays, and it's just so fitting that his Christmas tree is still up. On the one time we don't have him on for a holiday show.
It's still a holiday. It's still Christmas somewhere.
That's
right. Always in my heart.
So horrible. When we were talking about that early on, and before we actually launched this, I saw as the countdown was going to launching the stream, I was just staring at the tree like, why do you have to be there? And why do you have to be so big?
But
because you love Christmas. Decentralized.
Yes, decentralized. Let's say it a couple more times.
All right. So one way to put that is, say, a bank. That's a centralized form of currency and business.
Yes.
They, in the back room, in the vault, have a ledger that keeps track of how much money each of us own in our bank account. Now, a decentralized network like the blockchain runs on is that each of our computers has a copy of that ledger. So every time a transaction occurs, it is written to each ledger. So everyone has a copy of it.
That makes total sense, actually. And I'm
good. Yeah.
I'm going to continue on as if I asked that original question for our audience, but really it was for me.
I just saw Stefan's comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Stefan. Jordan it's an Easter tree now, right?
This is our Easter episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
Early Easter. Get it all in right now.
Yeah. So that's the I guess that's the double-edged sword that's happening to a lot of things on the blockchain, or Bitcoin itself. Is what began as like a the weirdo kid in his parents' basement mining Bitcoin has turned into Elon Musk, buying $1.5 billion worth, right? I think
or some Dogecoin, whichever.
Yeah. Not financial advice, but if you are up on your Dogecoin,
to the moon,
throw it out, get rid of it. You can go to Etherscan right now and see the hashes of all the transactions that happen, right? Is that kind of what you're getting at? You can see that this store of value was transferred from here to here. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So
and that is tracked across many copies of the ledger.
Yes.
It's not in any single one place where, not that they could fudge the numbers if they wanted to, or, they can't also print money,
Correct.
So like Bitcoin, you can't make more Bitcoin. You can buy more or you can mine more, but from my understanding, there's a finite amount of it.
Absolutely.
Unlike the USD, there is an infinite amount of dollars that we can just print.
Exactly.
So it brings a certain value to all of it. So if you own one Bitcoin and that Bitcoin goes up, the price is what everyone kind of says the price is, versus, you have $100 in your pocket. If all of a sudden you print a lot more $100 bills, that value of that $100 bill goes down.
Absolutely. So to jump back super quick to what you're saying is how it's all traceable. You are right that it's traceable through, let's say, Etherscan. You can see X amount of this particular token or this particular currency was transferred from let's just say a holding on Coinbase to a private wallet on a Ledger Nano or something like that. Even though you can see that traffic happening, you don't know who it was, right? It's all speculation, and that's where the centralization kind of falls short. And who knows what that'll look like in the future, to where maybe it becomes centralized and you can no longer anonymously do this. But it's definitely not there right now. So you can transfer these tokens or these currencies around without your name being involved in it, which we know would not happen at a bank, obviously.
Right.
They'll know exactly where it went, onshore, offshore, wherever. But what was the second part of what you got to?
I don't remember. I mean, what do you mean?
There was more. You were mentioning something.
So like the ledgers, we all have a copy of it. That's like the decentralized part of it. The like fraudulentness of it kind of goes away. Like that's the security of it.
The finite amount also. That's right. Where you're getting at. So even with Theta, so you have the Theta governance token, right? That's kind of the brains of the network. That's what you can run Guardian and validator nodes with. Well, there's also the Theta fuel, obviously. I don't know the exact amount of Theta fuel that'll ever exist, but with Theta itself as the token, there's only 1 billion that will exist.
Right.
And that's the finite amount of that. And that's not the only other. I mean, if you ask me, any credible crypto project you'll know the finite amount, whether it's in full circulation or not. But
then there are the ones that have an infinite amount, or they have code to where they can create more. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, it's always the big red flags you can look at are how many are in circulation versus what the total supply is of the product, and if it's a anonymous developer team or not.
Right.
There's a hell of a lot of different crypto projects. Myself, I'm only invested in probably 4 or 5. It's like the internet boom. You have, I mean, I can only assume. I mean, I'll probably be wrong in the end, but I assume the 95% of these projects are kind of scammy.
Sure.
They come and go. I've seen myself. I've never been involved in one, thank God. But they call them rug pulls, obviously. So a project reaches a certain market cap, and the anonymous team sells off all of them, and it just crashes.
Yeah.
I've seen some horror stories on that. But all the products that I look into, Theta being one of them. I don't trade crypto. I'm not I guarantee if I was trading in the space, it wouldn't be like a nice Christmas tree in a house behind me. I'd probably be on the streets, like doing this from like a park bench, because I probably would have lost everything. I'm not good at trading. I like researching companies and the products they have, and just investing in those, because I think the product will be something in the future, whether it's in the decentralized finance world, whether it's in the decentralized, I guess in this case, entertainment. It's not like I've never looked at crypto and seen it as a get rich overnight type of thing.
Right.
I know
Which is very ironic, because I mean that is large in part what people think of it as, right? Even Bitcoin at one time was some scammy, not gonna ever go anywhere form of value or coin or crypto, and now it's a legitimate place to store your value.
Absolutely.
To some degree. So
yeah, the people that are close to me, whether it's my family or my close friends, I always try to encourage them with the idea of, there's always going to be volatility in there, especially as you have Elon Musk, announcing he bought Bitcoin. So many people are going to jump in thinking they can get rich quick, and it's going to soar the market cap on Bitcoin, and it's going to go from $40,000 like it did up to 57. It was 57, I think, and then it's going to crash hard because a lot of those people are going to cash out quick, or they're going to have. They're going to be a little bit scared, so they're going to sell off quicker, and it creates the downward slope into the flash crashes. But the crypto market right now is it's on a 4-year Bitcoin cycle, which puts it in a bull run right now. So you could, I always tell people that it's never. I mean, if you go on YouTube and you research any of these products, you'll always hear this isn't financial advice, because you could lose all your money tomorrow. All these companies could go away tomorrow,
Right.
Or they could slowly gain value, and they could slowly gain use cases, and you'll slowly see your portfolio grow. It's a I think if you have that mindset, if you do your research onto what products will grow in the future, what you think that could be used, you'll slowly but surely win.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the thesis for stonks only go up. They don't go down, but the good ones only go up.
Yeah.
Hey,
There we
Justin, thanks for tuning in. He's watching from a park bench.
Must be warmer.
Yeah, hopefully it's warm.
Justin is it's my brother, obviously.
Indeed.
He jumped into the crypto sphere with me also a couple of years ago.
But he's the full-on trader, right? Where he's
a lot like me. The first year was, oh, this is awesome. Oh crap, this is scary. Oh, this is great. It's a little bit more fun than the standard. I don't have much experience in the standard stock market, but a lot of your standard stock markets, they just trade sideways for a certain amount of time, right? And they don't do much. They don't do a whole lot. Well, crypto's up and down. It's side to side. If it was a roller coaster, I probably would have thrown up a lot.
I mean, yeah. I mean, since 2016, there's a solid bull run of the market for 3 years, and then since last March, the regular stock market acts like crypto anymore.
Does it?
and the weird, and this is a
COVID, I guess, too, right?
This is a prelude to Stonk Boys podcast, by the way. But
that's right.
Yeah, it plus like just the boom of retail traders, so like people like us, obviously we're not part of a firm or some sort of hedge fund. This is large in part a lot of the people who got into crypto and saw crypto as like a get rich quick scheme, or they're young enough to understand the value in it, right? Well, as the stock market kind of became a little bit more volatile and opportunity opened up there last year, that same mindset I can see taking grip of just your everyday markets, right? Where people are literally just kind of going with the philosophy of like, we're setting the price of this stuff, and that's kind of like the direction it's going to go. So
yeah. And this is a lot of these projects that, like Justin, we have two other friends, one friend, Mark, who got me in this insanity in the first place. We started buying in the bear market, right? It was super slow. There wasn't we didn't even realize it was a bear market because the product that we were buying into was going up and down and side to side. We were gaining value though. Overall, it was crashing going up, which is always good. But you find yourself getting a little bit greedy sometimes. You like, it goes from like $3 to let's just say like $5 and then $15, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then it crashes to 7 or 8, and you're like, where did all my money go? But you forget that a week ago it was only $3, right?
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
Well, whenever I talk to somebody about, like whether it's Theta, whether it's some of the other holdings that we have, I always try to make it very clear. I'm like, we're invested in blockchain technology. but we don't own any actual currencies.
Right.
And when you say that, it's people are always like, what are you talking about? It's cryptocurrency, right? It's there's a whole ecosystem that is developing on the blockchain, which will be integrated into our internet. So it's a lot of people, when they jump into it, you'll see the price of Theta. I think tonight it's around $3, hovering around $3, maybe just dropping right below it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I missed a train. I could have got it at 17 cents, could have got it at 30 cents, 65 cents. And
$2 a month ago when you told us to buy it.
Yeah. Well, I look at that, and people will stare at that, waiting for it to jump back down to that $2 mark, instead of just kind of buying some here and there and dollar cost average in. And then all of a sudden, when it's $10, you're like, oh, I should have got it. Should have got more at $3 or $4, right? And it's the ultimate. Everything is relative, because it doesn't matter what it reaches. It always feels too expensive. And that's why I always say, you want to do your research on a project that you can see going to $100, maybe $200, and think about what those market caps might look like, and just kind of literally invest. Don't really worry about the short term. If you want to do the short term stuff, look into. I mean, you could do Doge if you want. I wouldn't even do Doge on short term, honestly, but you can. There are short term projects, and that you can have your fun and trade time with. But I think some of the long term projects, if you're not into trading, just dollar cost average in, just do what you want to do and just buy and hold, and always invest what you're, obviously able to lose. Don't sell your house and jump into it.
Dang it.
Because there's a way of thinking where it's like, the people who watch the price move all the time, and, don't like penny pinch into it. Like, if you want to buy it, whatever it's kind of at. You can time it good, obviously, but you can never time it perfectly. But like you said earlier, the thing about like Theta is it has a tangible product, right? So like,
exactly,
there's the streaming services and the G Fuel, which I do have a question about. Is
G Fuel is an energy drink.
Welcome to hell.
G Fuel too. They mail it to your house.
That's right. Hey, G Fuel, if you're looking for a new sponsor,
all of a sudden your shirt says T Fuel. You turn it inside out.
Yeah. G Fuel in the front, T Fuel in the back.
I will totally sell my soul for a sponsor. So anything you want, G Fuel, just let me know.
So streaming, right, and making content network gives you T Fuel. Then does running the nodes give you actual Theta? And are those like somehow exchangeable?
So the first part where you said when you're streaming, you can the viewers. If I'm watching this on Theta right now, I'm accumulating T Fuel, and I can in return tip the content creators that I like with T Fuel. So you don't, to my knowledge, as a streamer, you don't earn anything other than what you're being tipped.
But
now,
you do as a viewer.
Yes, yeah. The viewers earn for watching, and then can tip the content viewers. So I could.
Mike's gonna be so
buy. I know. Can you buy T Fuel with money, or is it only earnable?
No, you can definitely buy it. T Fuel in particular.
You can buy anything, Mike. Come on.
How much you got?
Gotta ask the questions.
How much you got? So with T Fuel, let me just look this up, because I don't own any actual currency. T Fuel's at 8 cents right now. When I was learning about this project, I mean, actually, this wasn't that long ago. I think it was. I could actually look at the chart, but I closed it. But it was worth a fraction of a cent. Probably not even 6-7 months ago. Now it's worth 8 cents. I think it went up to 11 or 10 cents and dropped back down to right here. But
it's worth more than Dogecoin.
It's kind of what I'm getting at is when you have a project with fundamentals, if you just buy and hold, it as long as it has good fundamentals and has a good future, you'll see it accumulate. Yeah. If you buy a bunch of T Fuel right now for 8 cents, it's worth 8.4 cents or whatever. You could, when that goes to $1, think about that. You're printing dollars if you have a Guardian node set up, and if you're dedicating your network to the Theta Network, you're literally printing dollars if it's at $1.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, what if that goes to $5? You're still printing that fraction of it, but it accumulates even higher and faster,
Right.
and it becomes worth more. Right. You used to be able to buy Bitcoin for 10 cents and have a heck of a lot of them. Right. But now you're buying a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Right.
I'm not saying T fuel will ever be as much as that. It won't, obviously, especially with the circulating supply behind it. But there's value that will accumulate itself before it's adopted. And in my opinion, it's absolutely. I mean, anyone that knows me, there's a lot of people that know me, and they'll all call me a lot of different things. And obviously, one of them is never like a financial advisor. But in my opinion, I think Theta has a lot of room to go. Theta Fuel has a lot of room to go. And I say that not even owning any Theta Fuel. I just have Theta itself. But it's a I think it's a cool opportunity to take part in something like this before it really gets big.
Right. So there was something I wanted to get into like 20 minutes ago, but I didn't want to interrupt what you guys were talking about because it was really good.
Okay.
When we were talking about the decentralization of Theta TV, and we were also talking about the potential of popular streamers leaving places like Twitch, or popular content creators leaving places like YouTube over censorship issues of late. I know that as an avid watcher of both, a lot of YouTube creators are a little annoyed at how much censorship is going on in the YouTube space. A lot of Twitch streamers are getting banned and super annoyed at the ever-changing nonsensical Twitch guidelines that are always all over the place and crazy like that. So I see Theta TV as being an enticing place to land creators who are suffering from that, or like being banned, like someone like Dr. Disrespect. I don't know how much you guys watch Twitch, or if you've ever heard of Dr. Disrespect.
That's a sweet name. Never heard of him, but
yeah, he's a pretty big streamer. I don't typically watch him very much because he streams like first-person shooters. I'm not a big.
He always got sunglasses and a wig.
Yeah, right? Big mustache. Yeah, that guy. He recently got banned from Twitch, and nobody knows really why.
No one knows why. Okay.
But like, I can see somebody like him seeing an opportunity with Theta that's decentralized, that is not going to have as much scrutiny and censorship as a Twitch or a YouTube.
Yes.
So I guess that my wild speculation is like seeing this platform that might not have as strict of guidelines and censorship as the two big content platforms. Like you might see a migration.
Absolutely. I could completely see that. And I guess the streamers who have the resources, which we know that they have a lot of resources, right? For how much money they've made in these other apps. The THETA Network, you have to also remember it's a blockchain itself that you can develop apps on. So yeah, so it goes way beyond, like that's what I was trying to say. Like it goes way beyond what we're even talking about. There could be a Dr. Disrespect application made on it. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll be like one of those Snapchat filters that like just turns your face into the Dr. Disrespect with the glasses and the hair and the mustache.
So we can have a Showboys TV app on Theta.
If you are willing to develop the app, yes, yeah, you definitely can, because it's an open source blockchain as well. And you'll start hearing of the term dApps in the future. And that's just decentralized applications, because as the content creator, you're making it and you're putting it on the blockchain yourself. So it's when I say the sky's the limit, it's who knows what could be made or what could happen. And current, the smartest enterprises are, instead of fighting that right now, they're going along with it, right? Because they know that it's going to be not just in their hands to succeed, but people will want to create themselves, and they can utilize it themselves. That's why I say that you could make your own streaming service if you had all the rights to. Let's just say, Showboys goes just giant, and you buy Warner Brothers, and you take over HBO. HBO Max, it's Max, right? Because Go's gone.
Whatever.
Yeah, HBO Max, whatever it is,
whatever HBO you want to call it.
Yeah. You have the you could rebrand that and have it powered by Theta. It's sky's the limit.
There you go. Hey, write that down, Nick. It's on the agenda. Whenever we buy Warner Brothers.
I don't know if I would buy Warner Brothers.
Oh,
well, I mean, if I had money, that would be enticing, because they own the rights to a lot of properties that I enjoy, and I would like to see them done right. And I hate Warner Brothers. So.
They drive me nuts.
You buy them, rename them, and you just become a dictator over all your shows.
Yes.
You're like, I have all these ideas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Like, again, the sky's the limit. You could take a decentralized platform and centralize a small area of it, right? This is my own, it's my own little dictatorship app.
That's right.
Censor everybody on it.
Well,
that would be so amazing.
Lately, that's what I like about Reddit and Discord, right? So, like, they have their own, standards and rules to follow, but more specifically, the communities within, regulate themselves.
Self-governing, yeah,
they're self-governing. So, eventually it going that direction. Whereas like things like Facebook and Twitch, they are a giant community where everything is managed at a global, almost, I think that's what, when you say socialist, like to me, that's a little bit more socialist than the decentralized networks where they're, these are community driven, like Discord and Reddit threads, moderators, there's rules, but it's the standards of the community, not the entire platform.
Right.
And I guess that would be an eventuality of something like Theta or, helping on the blockchain there.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shameless plug here, since you brought up Discord. You should definitely join the Showboys Discord. We like to utilize it over our social media pages. And like Nick said, we've got a nice little community growing in there. And it's a great way to engage with other listeners and ourselves. So we hope to see you there. We have a link up in the chat here on the YouTube chat. So if you use Discord, give it a click and we'll see you in there. So do you envision more companies like Lionsgate doing these like watch party streams with their content on Theta?
I think there's going to be a point where, and I don't want to give a boring answer to this, but there's going to be a point where, like I said before, where you're watching something that's utilizing the THETA network without really noticing it. Mm-hmm. Eventually, when companies are gaining steam and they're in their infancy, you'll see them making these announcements of this is the new partnership, this is what's happening. Well, the projects that have the heavy fundamentals will eventually stop doing that, because you're just going to start assuming they're working with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think there's a really good opportunity that or a really good chance that you'll see, or you'll just be interacting with it without noticing it. Going back to HBO Max, eventually they might have a particular set of videos you can stream and watch movies in VR from your home.
Yeah.
And that particular piece, that could be part of like a validator node that they're running, right? That they as a company are benefiting from being part of the decentralization of the bandwidth that everyone's sharing. So sky's the limit. I don't. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, that was a good answer. Do you guys have any closing remarks on the THETA Network?
And anything beyond what I've already said? I think there's nothing to my knowledge. There's nothing like what the company's doing, and I think it's gonna change the entertainment game in the future here. Literally, you're gonna esports are. I mean, I think over 80% of internet bandwidth is all streamed video. So you have to think about that. What these companies that limit the throttle on your bandwidth of what you're able to receive, they're not going to be able to keep up with what the entertainment industries want you to view and how they want you to view them. It's going to move way faster. So there needs to be something like THETA to be decentralized and allow people to work peer to peer to keep up with the entertainment that they want. Right. So it's
because the entertainment industry is only getting more aggressive with how much content each of them choose to put out on a regular basis.
Right.
Because we're starting to realize, maybe to the average person, like some of these companies, when you have Peacock, right? So NBC has their own streaming platform, and you're like, what was the necessity for that? Oh, they have some IPs that they want to push out to everybody. So it quickly starts to snowball here, where every single company that owns any sort of IP just wants to be like, hey, we'll just make our own and just push more content out there. And I remember, it wasn't all that long ago when Game of Thrones would premiere on HBO, right? Yeah. And that was largely both streamed and ran through DirecTV or wherever you got HBO through cable. But, sometimes the image quality would go poor. Sometimes it would just not work because the demand was that high. Yeah. So obviously, that was a handful of years ago. Everything exponentially grows with technology. So that's happening less, but that happening more on a gradual basis, just like across the entire internet, seems more and more likely, as especially in the past year, with the amount of entertainment people have probably shifted to start watching and consuming. So it'll take its natural course for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. This is one of the more interesting crypto projects outside of, obviously like the big three, which are aimed at more like a financial replacement kind of institutions. But like this as a tangible project and product is definitely one of the favorites I've heard about.
Yeah, I would definitely say that this is a technology that you should keep your eye out for and like really follow this. Their ideas are, game changing. So it'll be really cool to see, where THETA goes and the THETA network and the THETA tokens and the T fuel and all that stuff. Like it'll be really cool to see like next year at this time, like how far it's been integrated into, society and like
put it on the calendar.
It's right here. We're going to schedule it right now. No. But yeah, I think this was a really good topic, considering where THETA is at the moment, with where our entertainment consumption is also at the moment, living in, still in a pandemic where we're not, totally locked down like we were before, but, we're still, theaters are still not at full capacity. Some aren't open. You have companies like Warner Brothers, releasing their content to their streaming services as well as their theatrical releases. So the demand for bandwidth and streaming, your content is at an all-time high. So, a project like THETA just makes sense at a time like this. It's super interesting, and thank you so much for coming on and explaining it for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. So, since we didn't have like a topic about like movies and shows, particular, specifically tonight. Let's. Why don't we just spend the last little bit of the episode here? Just have you been watching anything cool lately, Jordan? Movies? Have you seen any movies? You watching any shows?
What's watching, dude?
What's watching, bro?
Nothing. Nothing. That's. I guess I watched the first episode of Superman and Lois on CW, which it turned into a CW. It turned into a CW show really quick.
Oh, nice.
Oh no.
It get angsty real quick.
It started really good.
Mike's favorite.
Had a lot of cool things, but it fell off pretty quick. I'd recommend anyone to watch it.
In one episode, how long is it?
The first one was. It was so good I can't even remember. I think it was.
It flew right by.
Hour and a half.
Oh
wow, that's pretty much a movie.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah,
it's a good premiere episode right there.
Yeah. I rewatched it also later on too, but it was just mainly the beginning. The beginning has so many throwbacks to some of the well, obviously some of the like mid to late 30s when Superman first came out, and some of the cartoons that came out in the 40s and 50s. It's really cool stuff. But overall, I don't see myself going back to it that much.
Doesn't sound like Man of Steel. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, I think we also brought that series up in the newscast too, I believe.
Yes, it was mentioned.
Yeah.
The
Superman and Lois. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool things. You can tell that obviously they're going. There's potential for good scenes, I suppose.
So I like the concept of the Arrowverse and what CW is attempting to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it wasn't so teen angsty. Like I used to love Arrow, but then like
what's the demographic they're going for?
Like 14, like and like the Flash was pretty good, but like it was just too much teenage angst going on in those shows.
First and second seasons of The Flash were amazing.
So good.
Same with Arrow too.
And I loved the they were basically the MCU of DC TV, like TV shows in the DC universe, but like the interweaving of characters between shows and the team up episodes, and like we had the Crisis on Infinite Earths event.
I know you've been watching. You were watching Titans.
I did. Yes.
You liked it overall.
Yes.
Good.
I finished that up 2 seasons, anxiously awaiting the third. And up until the Valheim needle went straight into my vein, I was watching Doom Patrol.
Okay.
But Nick has been holding me hostage on Valheim every night. All right. So here's the issue.
All right. Let's look at hours played recently.
Okay.
You have played recently almost as many hours as I have played total.
All right. Here's the problem. Up until today, we haven't had a dedicated server that's open all the time.
Okay.
And the way Valheim works is like if you join someone's server, they have to be online for the server to be open, right?
Your node has to be online for me to play on it.
Right. So Nick's, we're doing a thing on a server that I have, and so I'll be like, all right, Nick, I'm gonna get off because I want to watch the next episode of Doom Patrol. And he's like, but wait, hold on, let me finish this road that took me 4 days to make between our bases. Next thing I know, it's like
so
midnight.
Beautiful
road.
Beautiful. I'm too old. I can't watch anymore.
You guys aren't living together then in Valheim?
No.
Some nights.
No.
Mike builds a bunch of houses, and I just live for the work,
He just makes roads. And
I used to make roads and help Mike with his roof.
Yeah, he's my contractor.
Yeah.
But yes, I've watched 2 or 3 episodes of Doom Patrol now. I like it. I liked the little Doom Patrol crossover in Titans. That was cool. That like episode or 2 where they go into the
yeah, for me, I felt like it wasn't. I felt like even though that happened, the Doom Patrol show was different
Yeah,
from that.
Control.
it's definitely got a way different vibe. I like it though.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
I never really like followed much Teen Titans stuff, so like I don't know comic stories for the Teen Titans or anything like that. So I was literally just along for the ride.
Yeah.
And some of the fights were really cool. I really enjoyed the fellow who plays Dick Grayson. I thought he was a cool character. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I still have to recommend that you watch Swamp Thing though.
That's 100% on my list, even though it's on CW.
It's one season, and it's so you be ready for. I mean, if you like it, obviously, be ready to be disappointed because it ends. Yeah. Obviously, there's no second season. So I
got super excited when it was announced and was so hyped, and then immediately crushed when like 2 months later they're like, "Yeah, it's canceled already."
I was devastated. to say at least.
The only Swamp Thing comics I've read is the New 52 run, so I don't know like how close the show is to any of the storylines in New 52, or if it's like based off of older runs, or if it's not based off of really anything, and they're just telling a new story with some familiar characters.
I would say they mix it a little bit with the Len Wein Bronze Age series that he did on it. They kind of mix the subtle horror character just kind of trudging through the swamp with a little bit of the, hey, I'm really powerful swamp creature entity. Yes. They'll throw the powers out there just out of nowhere, which is really cool. They do it in a. I was very happy with how they did it and how they intertwined it, but nice. There wasn't he wasn't like God mode the whole time, and he wasn't just like a Bigfoot, like a green Bigfoot walking through the swamp the whole time either.
That's such a cool character. Like I loved the New 52 run was really good. I mean, again, I don't have anything to compare it to, but I loved it. That's one of my favorite comic series that I've read.
There are a lot of New 52. In New 52, he learns more about what Swamp Thing is and his relation to the swamp and being the guardian of the green and everything like that.
I love the Parliament.
Yeah, the Parliament trees. The Parliament trees are really cool. They go into the rot, the gray.
I love all that and the red and dude, it's so good.
They didn't really get to the red. That's Animal Man. I would have loved that they got to Animal Man, but it's a good show, and I'm so sad that it.
It's definitely on my list. A lot of the DC shows are starting to creep up on my list, mainly because I have access to HBO now, but I know that's on the CW. What about you, Nick? What have you been watching lately? Anything?
Once again, Valheim is a little bit of a struggle in the evening. But
it's so hard to not play.
I have been sneaking in the weekly episodes of Attack on Titan, season 4 as they come out. Highly recommend that show. It is just utmost ridiculous, and then it gets better and better with time. I recommend the subtitles, not the dub, but it's a great show.
Is that? I feel like I've seen that on Netflix. Is it not on Netflix? Is it on something else?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu, okay. Because I was like, weekly release. That's weird on Netflix. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that explains it because it's on Hulu.
So. Watch till watch season 1 till like episode 3 or 4, and just like decide then if you're going to continue watching it.
Okay. Yeah, you keep texting me, especially when I'm like, "Hey, I'm watching Titans," and you're
watching Titans.
Attack on Titans.
Yeah, Attack on Titan is what you need to be watching, not Titan. Teen Titan, teen angsty stuff.
Yeah. One other thing I've been watching lately is WandaVision, and absolutely loving it. Like it is it's so out of the box for the MCU. I love it. It's great. I didn't. I actually out of all the MCU projects, that was the one I was actually least looking forward to and thought I would absolutely hate, and it's one of my favorites. So if either of you have not watched WandaVision yet, you definitely should. It's super cool.
I haven't, but I'm a big fan of Bewitched, Happy Days, I Love Lucy, all those old
You'll love it. You'll love it, dude.
I should give it a shot. I'm not a Vision is one of especially the MCU version of him. I wasn't very interested in him.
Yeah.
And,
it's like 70% Wanda, like 30% Vision, I would say.
that helps.
But and I think the episode lengths are, I think it's like one of the 22, 25 minutes long, so it's real easy to catch up on and binge, slam through in a night or two. But yeah, that actually, I think that does it for the episode tonight. Before we jump out of here, though, I think it's only right that we maybe do a little tease of what might be coming up, Jordan. Speaking of the MCU and WandaVision, the next MCU series is coming out right around the corner. Here on March 19th, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be releasing on Disney Plus. And, we haven't done a companion series in a while. And I think it's about time. So
every 2 months, we got to take like a 2-month break and then fire one up.
Yeah. So Nick actually hates me and barely wants to do this podcast with me. So
also true.
He played Valheim.
Yeah, he's too into the Viking Minecraft lifestyle right now. But yeah, so Jordan will be joining me on the Falcon and Winter Soldier companion series coming soon. So I'm really excited about that because much like The Mandalorian, I know nothing about Marvel Comics. Now, the MCU, I've seen everything multiple times. I'm really into the MCU and all that stuff. So I'm actually really excited to do this companion series, but I need that comic expert. So I had to pull Jordan in with me. He's going to be there, making sure I don't sound like an idiot.
You're the source material, Jordan.
Yes, Jordan is the source material.
He's the talking head. It's real easy and it's really fun.
It'll be a good time. I can tell from the trailer alone, there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see, if at all any of the events of WandaVision will tie into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, what the timeline of that show is compared to WandaVision. I'm just really excited to get in and break down the details and all the Easter eggs and the larger impact on the MCU with my buddy Jordan. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good time. I think one of the things we talked about also is we're going to go into some of the origin stories of some of the characters that are going to be brought into the MCU through this series, and some of those origin stories are really cool, and some are just downright outrageous.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. The Mandalorian companion series was a blast, so I'm ready to do it again. And
I'll just be sitting there on screen, but just playing Valheim, and I won't say a word the whole time.
So will Mike, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'll play Dead Space.
That's the real reason I brought Jordan in.
I'll play Dead Space while we live stream here, so you guys can see me leap back in my chair to the wall.
That'd be a blast. Yes. But yeah, so thanks again for the viewers here on the live stream. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope that the episode was entertaining and informative, and you walk away from your computer tonight having some understanding of the THETA Network and maybe some anticipation for the Falcon and Winter Soldier companion series. If we did a good job, if you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out, helps us grow. You can follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Showboys Podcast. You should join us in our Discord because that's where all the spicy Showboys podcast stuff happens. That link is in the YouTube chat right now and can also be found on our Linktree page, which is linktr.ee/showboyspodcast. You can find all of our podcast platforms, social media, content, platforms and sites on our Linktree page. Thanks for listening. And yeah, until next time, have a good one.
That's a wrap.
Take care.